Okay, stop. We just want to have real conversations, honest conversations about trading. If you feel the same, welcome to the True Traders Experience.
Welcome everyone to this new episode. I present you Pascal. He's ICT, baguette, bank trader, insider trader. No, I'm joking. Pascal has been with us for a long time now in the community. He has been having a lot of things happening in his trading, and we thought it would be a nice second interview to do together. Why second is because I did also an email on the Substack interviewing him, and we thought it would be nice to add up on the podcast. So welcome, Pascal.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining here. So can you give us maybe an overall of your trading journey for people who don't know you and to have a bit of a background here?
Yeah, of course. So I started around, I think it was like now 4 years when I first got in touch with trading and everything. Like got my feet into this whole finance thing and everything. So what I basically did, how my trading started, I was throwing on like some algorithm on the 1 minute chart, and you know these buy and sell signals. So basically on every buy signal I was buying, on every sell signal I was selling. So this was my first trading experience in Forex. Like I remember it to this day because I was wondering like, why am I only making 1 cent, 2 cent? Like price is not moving. But now I know why, because it was 0.01 lot. So on the 1 minute chart, we all know there is nothing happening. And yeah, so I was really sad why I was not getting rich quick. Yeah, and then I got my feet into options. Like I had a little bit of a mentor, but by that time I was not having any clue about psychology or what it really takes to trade with responsibility and everything. So I was losing quite a lot of money. I think this was the money I had to pay, like my tuition fee. And then, I was wandering around because I was not making it. Like there was no feeling of success. And then I jumped into crypto, but then you put on with no experience, like what is this 125x leverage? Yeah, you will feel it. You will feel it what it is. Like when your position gets liquidated in minutes. And then I was jumping around here and then trying out different things. And eventually at some point I came across a YouTube video of a guy called Pablo, and I think he was like around 800 subscribers. And I don't know what made me click on this video, but I think it was that dumb thumbnail you had. I remember it to this day.
My meme thumbnails.
The meme thumbnail. And so I decided, okay, why not give it a try? And then by that time, I also got to know like what prop firms are and everything. So I bought a challenge with my Forex funds back then. And I tried the baguette strategy, which really give me success in the first time. Like I saw, okay, there is possibility to make money in this market if you know what to do and what to look at. I mean, by that time, I still didn't knew anything what I was doing. I was just taking my fib and then put it, okay, this is a low, this is a high, our golden zone, okay, I take a trade. So this was how I was trading back then. And then I got funded with my Forex funds actually. So I hit up Pablo. I was like, hey, I got funded. Can you add me to the Discord? And this is how the journey started with us together.
Did you get to pay out with my Forex fund or never?
Yeah, it was $26. I'm so proud of it. I was so proud of it because I remember I put on the trade. I had a 5K account, so I put like 1% risk. And once the trade was like something in profit, I was like, I closed this. So I got my refund and the first profit.
At least then when that's great. It's still profit.
It's profit, yeah. I had my fees back.
So you started through this like simple pullback strategy, and then you got your first experience of like seeing some recurrent wins. How did it go then? Like, did you try to plan better how you will scale this, or did you have any idea of what you wanted to do from then?
Yeah. So I started to make a plan for myself how to reach $1 million in funding. Like then you start to get crazy and like you see your first success, and then of course Instagram does does add a lot of it to it. So you think.
So that was your goal, the million.
Yeah. The million was my goal. So I had my whiteboard. So I was writing out, okay, I need to get next account was like 20K, which I got funded. So I get 20K, 50K. When I have the 50K, I take off the 20K. So the math does better. So I get another 50K, then I'm at 100. So if I get another 100, I'm at 200. So I doubled it always. Like, and when I was like at 800K, I said, okay, now I only need the 200 account. Then I got my 1 million in funding. Like, this was the plan. But of course, it did not happen like this, because after my Forex funds, I still was not anywhere near being, like, I would call myself a trader. I was just placing trades, but I was still not understanding, like, psychology wise, that there was so much over trading and over risking. And I know, like, the emotions I felt back then when I was losing a trade or when I was over trading. We all know that adrenaline rush, and you're doing something wrong, but you're not stopping. So this was also stopping me from my goals. And I blew a lot of money back then on challenges, because I was doing, like, I bought this was crazy. I bought like a 100K account, which is 500 euro. And I put on one trade. It's either I pass phase one or I blew the account. Like, I was not even putting like 4.9%, which would give me a chance of having a second hit on it, because you have 10% drawdown. I was like doing 7%, 8% and hoping for 1-to-1. So I lost a lot of money then. And how did I tell myself, or when did I tell myself, okay, I need to really make a plan? I got more challenges, and I think the first, how would I call it? Like, I knew I need to chill and step back was when I got my 100K account funded with this dumb strategy. And then I was like, okay, it's not worth spending so much money on prop firms with not having any success. And then I was like, okay, either it's I stop here, like I was at this point, or somehow I make it work. And I get myself a strategy where I know that it's not tomorrow I be a millionaire. Like, this delayed gratification thing is such a huge thing, which, shout out to Neo, our psychology guy, introduced me more into it. And of course Pablo with his videos. So this wasn't the point where I knew, okay, this is in theory what it takes to have success in trading.
Okay, so what was your biggest challenge psychologically when you started to have this goal that you made on your whiteboard for going to the 1 million?
To tell myself that it takes time. Like, this was the hardest thing. Every day we open our phones on social media, you say, I made $1 million on this trade. Like, it's we get so manipulated to thinking we need all the things fast. So time was the hardest thing, and of course not falling back into over trading, over risking. Like, it's okay to lose, it's part of the game. And so these were the hardest challenges. Like, we are not used to losing in life. We always want to win, and it's the hardest thing to cope with, to lose. And you need to tell yourself with prop firms, it's not your money. I mean, you put like the whatever it costs you to buy the challenge, but that 100K is not your money. Like, you own nothing of it. So you should not stress about losing.
No one really talks about their losing, do they? Really? I mean, you go on YouTube, it's all, blue skies.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Was also the thing that like made me stick with Pablo, because we all see it every day. He's also losing trades. Of course, he has not a 100% win rate, which nobody has. Like, if anyone tells you that, like, he's full of bullshit, because there is no 100% in trading. In the end, what it's important is your edge. Like, even if you have, like, on 10 trades, you go for 1 to 2, you have 5 losses, you're still profitable. But that's what people don't see. Like, you need to do a bit of math, but no one shows you how to even cope with losses. Like, get away from the charts. Tomorrow is a new day. Nothing happened. Like, this was the hard part with trading.
So the hard part was, the patience of getting where you wanted to go, right? Due to the influence of, different social media, maybe people also in general, and so on. So what I'm interested of what I remember, because we've been talking with Pascal on and off, obviously, with time, you had a moment where it was quite hard for you. if I remember, was December, November, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Yeah. Could you share us a bit about what happened, if you don't?
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm happy to share because everybody can probably relate. Like, it was after a time I was kind of successful. I was doing a payout here and then with different prop firms. And then suddenly, like, things happen in life. And what happens in your life will reflect on your trading. So if you wake up like in a bad mood, you will see your trading is off. And so for that time, I was like in a bad phase. So my trading was really off, and I got back into old habits like over trading, over risking. And so eventually I lost all my funding. It was like, I think it was, I don't want to put it too high, but it was something like 6 figures that I've lost back then. And, you know, if you think like it's still money which you make, or that gives you the opportunity to make some money, that it's not life changing, for some it is, but like it gives a nice addition to your life, and it gives you chances to level up. So I lost it all, and I was like really, I was down. I was so frustrated of myself, and it also reflected like in my daily life. I was like pissed. I was annoyed by everyone. I didn't want to talk to any people because in my mind I was still like hanging on to this trade. Like, why did I do this? Why did I not put that risk? Or if I would have done that trade, I would have won. Like, I was so much stuck in my mind with old trades, like what Pablo wrote on his Twitter. Don't be in your head with trades when you're not on your chart. Like, just leave it. When you leave your charts, trading is done. Don't think about it. And I was really about to quit, and I took a break from it.
I think it was the best thing you did because, I mean, bro, you came back like crazy. So that's why I think it's important for people to listen to it. What did you do for this break then?
Yeah, in the break, I tried to remind myself like of my discipline, and that don't want to be in the statistics of the one who quit, and that it just takes time. Like, in the end, I have lost time and money, but I mean, time is not, you cannot make time back, but the money, of course. So I sat down and I thought, okay, what is there to do? And so I started with futures since Henry introduced me to it. And I was like, okay, it sounds interesting. Maybe I should start with this. And I watched more and more YouTube videos about like, slow down. I was taking so many trades per day. Back then there was days where like 6-7 days. Now imagine a day where you have 6-7 setups that are at least, let's say, B setup for you or A setup. Like, it's not happening. If you have one setup per day, it's really great. So I started to focus on less pairs, less trades, and I just gave myself time. Like, I called it the 100 challenge. So it was 100 days, 100 trades on I only traded NASDAQ 100. So that's why I called it the 100 challenge. And yeah, it was crazy. Like, in the first month, I think I made 400k funding back. It's nice to hear those numbers, but we always need to remind, like, you own, particularly like if you have a 100k account with 10% drawdown, you have 10k to trade with. And with futures challenges, it's even less. So you have on a 50k, you have 6k to trade with. So it's barely 10% always you can work with. So yeah, I was doing really, really good after I've just focused on one pair. Like, I'm looking at my track records on the left. It was insane. I think the first month I was around 30% profit, which I did with only one trade, 1% risk. And I was only using limit orders. Like, I looked for the swing. I just put my fib, limit order at golden zone, stop loss, take profit, and whatever happens, happens. If I get filled, okay. If I get stopped, it's okay. And if I don't get filled, it's also okay, because I knew there was a new day. And back then, this was really the point where it changed for me at the beginning of this year. So I was developing my strategies, how I do my payouts, how I will use that money which you make from prop firms. Don't go and spend it on like expensive shit and everything. Like, this can wait, and we can discuss if it's even necessary. But that's a different topic. But use that money to build your portfolio. Like, I had like a formula where I took some money, I invested it in stocks, I invested into crypto, then I took some money to buy new challenges. And of course, I also didn't want to leave myself out. So I paid myself some percentage which I can spend on whatever I want, because this was like my payment for my dedication, for the discipline. And you need to reward yourself. Like, this is how our brain works. We work on a reward system. And so I was doing really, really good when I adapted to this style of trading.
That's great. So just to put in context, guys, like he was from Forex prop firms, then shifted to futures. And that it was just like when he started to actually make his strategy better. But one point I really like keep in mind is that you did a business plan technically. You shifted from trading as an individual then to seeing that this was not enough and you need to make a plan, because you need to have some sort of structure of where you're going at. And I think that's what made you level up so well. How was then, like for you, future was like, okay, I'm not going back to Forex, or like it was kind of eye-opening, or?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, in the beginning, I had to struggle with contract sizing. So this was the annoying part. With Forex, you obviously have your position sizing, but I mean, it's just a little bit of math. So that's why I developed my own risk calculator for futures. It was like having the most common instruments which I traded. So it was Nasdaq, gold, S&P, oil. Like for those, I had my own calculator. And yeah, then I had more and more rumors about like Forex. It was like, we all noticed big random spikes in Forex, which can occur because, banks trade it and everything. And futures is more, let's say, regulated. So I did not have this random stop outs and everything. So that's why I stick so much with futures. Mm-hmm. And once I got that contract sizing perfectly on point, there was no need for me to go back to Forex eventually. The only thing that was drawing it back to Forex was that the prop firms with Forex, you had a bigger drawdown and no trailing drawdown. So the trailing drawdown is probably the thing that messes the most with people's minds, and also accounts like myself. I imagine often if there was no trailing drawdown, I had so much more fun at accounts, because once I'm in a valuation, I do take a particular risk to pass it, which often can be like the trade would have hit take profit, but the trailing drawdown made you lose the account or the evaluation, which I'm fine with by now. Like if we speak about these numbers, which is how much these challenges cost now, it's like nothing in compared what you can achieve with those. I think we can speak about this, what I mentioned also in the Discord here, like a strategy I proposed. So yeah, there was no need for me to go back to Forex at that time. Like now I'm back at it again, but because of a different reason.
Yeah, but we will mention a bit after, definitely. So would you say that getting yourself limits made you more performant?
100%.
Yeah. So how did you deal? Because when we start something, or we start like a new goal and getting better at something, obviously we find some sort of structure or something that makes us better, like you and the limit of trade and so on. But how did you deal when sometimes some emotions or some demons will come back? How did you do that? Did you make a journal about it, or did it come back, or were you like just disciplined and it was a revelation for you?
Yeah, so I started journaling, which I mentioned earlier with my 100 challenge. So here I noted when emotions came back. But at that time, it was like really, I didn't had a phase where it was like really bad. I was easy coping with losses. And yeah, I mean, it was also probably because like gym, I go to the gym often, like the gym keep me sane. So if I had a bad day, I know, okay, I can go to the gym and like get my mood back up. So this was always a huge lift for me. But like from that breakdown where I lost it all to getting back with the system, there was no more over trading, no more over risking.
Okay, great.
When I see it in my journal, sometimes it was like, yeah, stop loss is closed. But then you remind yourself, it's okay. You look back at your track record and then you see, okay, it's just part of the game.
And seeing such a difference of results, was greed a problem sometimes? Like, did it come into your mind like, shit, now I can do so much more, right?
Yeah. It was sometimes the case. Like, I have to be honest with that. You think like, okay, I might like, let's say this and this amount, but if I would have reached this, I would have made that. Of course, this was with making bigger numbers, but at the end of the day, I think I did not let it through, because like I did not go to over trading, I did not go to over risking. So it was just, we as humans, we don't get enough, like we never get enough. So this is like fighting your inner self. And like, I think I won that fight by that time. So I was coping good with it, with greed. Yes.
Dave, you want to say something? No?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, look, you've been a massive inspiration to me and to many in the community. Yeah, it's just interesting to see how you dealt with all the ups and downs emotionally, like how to, overcome the thoughts and the demons that would come into your mind, and then turn it around and then get like super profitable. It's an inspiration, and I just wanted to let you know that. Yeah, because I know when I started, I was like really bad, and you were trying to help me, and I didn't even know what I was doing, and you're probably looking at me going, "What the hell is this guy doing?" But yeah, it's amazing, like how, if you stick to a process like what you have done, you will start to see results. It's just about, hanging in there, limiting yourself, as you mentioned, Pablo, and just keeping that discipline. And that's where the big turnaround happened for you. So it's an important note. It's important to make that note.
Yeah, it's really finding your system. And I think that's what Pascal found. So there is just not one system. We're all individual. And maybe the system so to put context, Pascal, to give back to the community, proposed to make a giveaway. Dave won that giveaway. And the goal was like, Pascal gives some direction towards how you could make it to get funded. And Dave followed it, but it just didn't work. And he kind of got pissed out at everything. It was just difficult. And it comes to a thing is that every system is individual. And obviously now Dave, months later, is going towards this system, and it's start to work. So that's really it. So then you were futures, you were only with Apex, Top Step, or I suppose the most famous.
Yeah, tried different firms. Of course, it was Apex and Top Step, because like with futures prop firms, we see them going down. So you need to use different firms. So you spread out your portfolio, let's call it like this. And I did the same with futures. So I did with Top Step and with Apex. And like you cannot compare them in terms of, they're both futures prop firms provider, but I would call it Top Step is like the conservative one, and Apex is like the go full on. You can go full monkey mode and go crazy about your trades, because you have like a way different contract sizing. So I used these two different firms, and also adopted a different trading style with them, because with Top Step, you had like the rule, if you get funded, which was not able to do it in one day, because you were only allowed to make 50% of the profit in one trade. So I was aiming for 2 days. I would not recommend this strategy of doing it like the way I still do it or did it. But in the end, I told myself, okay, I have my setup, and this is my goal, what I want to achieve, because I don't care about the valuations. If I can say, oh, look, it took me 30 days to get this account funded, and I only made this and this amount, which is to some is nice, but you don't get anything out of it. Yes, you proved your consistency. Yes, you proved that you can be profitable, but I think it's more rewarding to do this on your actual funded account, where you get rewards for this. But here everybody's different, so everybody has their own strategy. And with Top Step, it was just, I was doing the max risk, or max contracts, which is like 5, I think, for NQ, to get my, like it was on the 50K, it's 1.5K, which you need, and 3K in total. So I was doing 2 days, hoping or looking for really good setups, which I knew, okay, these have a high chance that I will hit my take profit. So I got my account funded, and then I really, really took down the risk, because with Top Step, the nice thing is you only need $200 to call it a profitable day. So you need a profit of $200 to like tick off one box of your profit goal. Like it takes 5 profitable days, and then you can take 50% off the profit you made. So on the 50K, I think you had 3K drawdown and like $200 of 3K It's like not almost like 1%, which you were risking. So I was looking for one-to-ones and just looking to get my payout goals. Yeah. So this was pretty much what I was doing with Top Step. So I was getting these $200 days, and then I was taking my payouts off. And of course, with the futures drops, the prop firms, the huge downside is that once you make a payout, you don't get a reset of your drawdown. You stay where you are. So we all know this from Forex prop firms where you make 1%, you get back your 10% drawdown. And then you have to manage like your drawdown as well with futures prop firms. So with them, it's more managing, because with trading drawdown, we have drawdown not resetting, and this will make you lose accounts. So we'll also learn to deal with losing, but it's no problem, because you did not lose because of you were putting bad trades or risking, but they want to make you lose. It's part of the system. Otherwise, they won't make money.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, go on.
No, go on. I was done.
Yeah, so it is with Apex and Top Step that you reached your 1 million goal, isn't it?
Yes. So I reached it earlier than expected.
How long did it take you?
It was around I did post it in the Discord somewhere. I think it was like 5 months that I reached 1 million. And then at one point I was sitting on like 1.5 million. It was like only 2 months after. So this was my max allocation, which I had spread through different accounts. And of course you lose allocation because of what I explained before. Like you take out money, and then you only have drawdown of, let's say, 1 or 2 trades left. And yeah, it can happen that you lose 2 trades, but you don't blame yourself. It's just the system, as I said earlier. And yeah, then I had the allocation, and it also starts to mess with your mind, because you always need to stay humble. You need to put yourself down and not be like, oh, okay, now I got this amount of money, because in the end you still don't own it. Every day it can happen that you get banned, you lose it, or whatever happens. So you just should take the chance, appreciate it that you have this opportunity, and just follow your process.
Let's put something clear that I think it's important. Did you drop everything in your life to do only this full time, or do you still continue to your projects and work?
No. So from early on, like before I started even trading, I was like into entrepreneurship. I was trying drop shipping. I was trying, affiliate marketing. So we tried everything to get a little bit of money here and then. But I never stopped doing like my side projects and everything, because this was important for me. Like it was like we build a portfolio in trading or with stocks. So you can also build a portfolio of yourself or with your life. So I had my trading. I had my, let's call it different entrepreneur ideas and business and everything. I had my sports, because back then I was like doing Ironman, which also like triathlon, which also did a lot of good for me. And I could come back to when my trading was not going on, because then you remind yourself when you're like 20 kilometers into a run and you don't want to go anymore, you're like, fuck it, I'm finishing this race. Same was with trading, like finish the race of trading. I mean, we never finish the race of trading, because you can always make more money, always get more education. So trading was one part of my life, and then of course work. So I was also working besides that. Thanks to home office, I could manage my trading better. Like this is a huge upside where I'm really thankful, because if I think I would never had the possibility to have home office, I would never been at the point where I'm now. And I can understand the struggles of people. Like, hey, I work my 9 to 5 and then I need to trade and then I don't need to go to training. But here I just say, I mean, you have either 2 choices. You complain about it or you do it. This is life. You either get better and you have the pain of regret, or you have the pain of success or the pain of discipline. So these were always the 2 choices. But speaking from my point of view, it's a little bit easier due to home office. Like, it's really beneficial.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to ask, is my level okay now?
It's all good, I said, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, Pascal, like what is your goal in all this? Like, where do you want to end up with trading? And do you still plan to be very entrepreneurial, where you work on other projects and just trade a couple hours a day, or what's the dream lifestyle?
Yeah, This is a good question. I think I have not figured it out 100%, but it would be definitely a combination of having the availability to be wherever I want, like freedom of location, like I want to work from where I can, freedom of time, not being, let's call it in a hard way, somebody's bitch, of doing work for them and working for them, only like working together with other people in a entrepreneurship, like working that way. And of course, trading. I think at one point you realize it's not about making $1 million. It's about getting the freedom of being wherever you want. Yeah, money is part of the game. We all need money, but money is just the tool. Like, you should never put money over everything. So I just want to make money from trading, which I can use as some sort of leverage, to fund my further projects, fund further ideas. And in the end, I'm also honest, at some point, I don't want to put myself every day in the markets, have that stress of day trading, because we all know it's so much stress for your mind. And like, when I imagine myself when I'm 50, 60, I don't want to sit there every day, look at charts and be stressed out, like if my trade hits stop loss. But then you have different strategies to adapt. Like, you can become a swing trader where you just look, let's say, 2 days per week on the chart. But if I could choose, it would be like living a life with my family, independent from being employed, just do my trading, have my own business. Of course, since I'm a sports car guy, I would like to drive a nice car, but this is like, at the end of the chain, I just want that freedom to be wherever I want to be, like eat good foods, live a healthy life. So I use trading as a tool for that.
It's more about the experience more than the things. And that's where I suppose Pascal and I dare to say that we got a good connection, is because we have a very similar point of view of life. And yeah, I really respect your growth in such a small amount of time. We have a question from Chris, if you don't mind, and then we will get to the flesh of the title, right? How did you manage to discipline, master your mind, Pascal? And what was the first thing you worked on first?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I was doing triathlon and half marathons I was running. So sports was actually my teacher on how to keep myself disciplined. Because, I remember times, I was like running and I had no water with me. It was in summer and it was a 28-kilometer run. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I need some water and this and that. But your mind really wants to stop you from everything, but your body like won't stop you. Your mind will first come into play and say, stop it. Why do you do this to yourself? So you just always need to have your goal, like what you want to achieve, and really enjoy the process of becoming more disciplined. Because if I look back now, it was not like the feeling of finishing the race. It was working towards that race, training 4, 5, 6 days a week. So enjoying the process, helping become more disciplined and just do it. Like, it's just doing it and reminding yourself of what you want to achieve. Because in the end, trading is a skill nobody can ever take away from you. So you need to think of that. Like, it's the same with if you teach yourself how to be a software engineer. This is a skill nobody can ever take away from you. And I think skills are so much more worth in life than anything else. And this was always the motivation behind and keep me disciplined to keep going to this day. It's been now 1 year that I've been trading consistently and disciplined, and I'm nowhere near being an expert or anything. Like, it takes you like 3-4 years to say with discipline and consistency to say like, okay, I've been in this market for so long, I can give some expert advice, and I know what I'm doing. Like Pablo, I remember, also said it, after 1 year you're not a trader. Like, it takes you 3-4 years of consistency to say, okay, I stick to this. I've seen my progress. So good things take time, and so was it with everything I did.
Yeah. When I was 18, I remember like I needed to pump myself up to go a bit against the stream of like, because everyone wanted to go to university and all these things. And obviously I didn't. So I always remember this quote, like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? So it's exactly what you're saying. I wanted to ask you, and we have other question that I will come back through. How getting funded to that level, because it's not everyone who get to that level that quickly, how did it change your perspective towards money?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think.
Very good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Because I'm supposing that what's nice with you and is that everyone can relate to you, right? Like and I think that's why we have created these communities, that we all come from similar situation, right? Where, I mean, it's not like just natural to have 1 million funded and get payout. So there is something changing in the mind and the perspective about money. So I was curious about that.
Yeah, you remember more and more that money is just a tool. Like some say money is not real, but yeah, in the end, you need to get the money thought out if you want to make progress. Like maybe I forgot this to mention earlier, but once I did not care about the money came in with trade.
So funny.
So how did you do? Because I think many people get stuck in that, you know?
Yeah. How did I do it? I mean, first, as you also say, if you don't have money, don't start trading. Or let's say if you don't have some money to lose, even if it's $100 that you're fine with losing, okay, you set for trading. But if you're struggling day by day to let's say pay for your groceries, your rent is overdue, don't get into trading, because in the beginning you will lose too much money. It's just part of the game. You will lose money eventually. But I changed I did not give it too much value. I think this is what I can say. It's not that I don't care about money, but like I don't put it over everything. If I lose it, it's okay, because I know, like I'm now 23 years old. I have hopefully, let's say 60 to 70 years, which I'm here, where I can make money back. And let's say if you lose like 10K, for some, this is like, oh, you lost 10K and here and this and that. And how can you do this? But let's say if you sell 10 things for $1,000, you have made 10K. Yes, you need to make that money, but you have so much time where you can make that money back. So yes, it's hard to lose money for everybody. As I mentioned earlier, we don't like losing, but don't put money over everything. Don't stress about it, because if you just give it too much power, it will control you in the end. And yeah, I've also been in this phase, like it was like 1 or 2 months where I was not humble. I was like, okay, fuck it. I was spending that money like it was monopoly money. But then I luckily reminded myself and got back down to earth to get back to the point where I did not give it power over myself.
That's great. It's really the discipline, yeah, like you say, Chris. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of guys will open this podcast due to the title, right? 1 million funded trader, and then drop it all to pursue true freedom and trading success. So that's the interesting part. And then if you don't mind, towards the end, I think many people are very interested about the strategy, like the process, the more technical process, if we could go through that after. But so, yeah, you got funded, many payouts, it's going well. And yeah, one day Pascal told me like, I'll just move on. So can you please explain?
Yeah, so I won't mention no any names, any firms or whatever, but I was like, it was a 21 green day streak. So yeah, I know it was like, sometimes there is summer in the markets and there is winter. And I was like, I know it can happen. You have that lucky streak and then you make whatever you do works out. Like every trade works out, every firm works out. And then I was like up 30% on the funding I had. And then the things start to turn out bad. Like firms started like, oh yeah, we don't get you a payout. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe this and this happened. Then I continue. It was like going on, rejecting these payouts. And at some point I was like, okay, I don't want to put my mind so much into stress over all that stuff. I will stop it. I will let them win. And I just go self-funded, which is the goal in the end of every trader. Like you have that freedom, which you achieve with being self-funded. We all know that stress when you're in a trade, you lose it. Oh shit, I lost 1% of my drawdown. Like it's so much bugging with the mind. And I believe if you give people accounts and just tell them trade on it, you don't give them any rules, you don't say you will get payouts. I think at least half of the people will be better traders because they're not stressing about drawdowns. They're not stressing about, oh, I need to make profit. I can make now X amount of money, but they just purely focus on their trading. So this is why I dropped into being self-funded now. Of course, I did not have the leverage now, which I had back then. But as I told earlier, it's not about money, giving money that power. It was about the progress, learning that skill. And like, if we're being here honest, like on the 50K account, you have like 2.5K to trade with. Like then your account is blown. So if you take that money and put it into a personal funded account, you have 100% of drawdown, which you can lose. And nobody can tell you, no, you don't get a payout. Maybe if you have like a bad broker, they come up with things, but that's why you do your research and don't go to, let's say, happy brokers, whatever are they called, I don't know, like the scammy brokers. So do your research where you put your money, like you would do with stocks and everything. Hopefully you do your research. And so that's when I choose to be self-funded, and it was like the best thing to do for the mind and everything.
Was it scary to jump because maybe you got comfortable into this funded account because you're not playing technically with your money? You like a bit, but maybe for the mind, it's like, yeah, it's a funded account, so it's free money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, to be honest, not because as I'm a risk taker, which comes from the whole, entrepreneurship story where you need to take risks. And I don't care about losing money. As I explained, I'm young. I have no responsibilities. Like I have no family to feed. I have no kids. Maybe there are some kids out there which I don't know of, but now I don't have to feed. No, I don't have to feed any kids. So I can take the risk. Let's say in 10 years, after 10 years, I have $0. I'm 30 years old. What have I lost? I've only made experience and a skill. And it's like, I think there is an exponential growth to it. Like if you start with that experience when you're 30, it will take you less time to make it back. And even if you're 40, 50, like what is the average of like the millionaires and billionaires? They are 40, 50, something like this. So technically I'm 30 years ahead of them. And not that I'm a millionaire or billionaire, but with where I started and what I'm doing.
But
I was not
Sorry, go on.
So I was not caring about losing that money at all.
that's a great, it's a great strength, really, definitely. What did you want to say, Dave?
I want to say your mindset though is already way ahead of most people, like especially for your age. No, I mean, I definitely wasn't thinking the way you're thinking right now at your age. There's no way. You have a very mature way of looking at money and your relationship with success. It's good. It can only.
I really highly respect that on Pascal. And I mean, the really good thing with making a community for my hand was that I'm learning so much from all of you guys. And Pascal has been important in that. I've learned a lot about it. So definitely good. So how was your transition to that? Like, where did you decide to go? It seems that you went back to the source. Can you explain us a bit? Like, so did you continue with futures or?
Yeah. So I got back into options trading, and I had Forex accounts. I did split out a little bit, but in the end, options is only for, let's say, if you have big amounts of money. We're talking about, let's say, 100K accounts, at least, I would say, to have a opportunity to make a good amount of money and don't be affected by the losses too hard. Because for people that don't know a lot of options, like let's say you have your options have an expiration date, and if your option expires today, but there is like literally no volume in the markets, no volatility, and your trade is above your, let's say, entry price, and you went long, and your trade is you entered at 170 and your trade is at 180, but you just still see your options decline in value, decline. So there's so much to think about it. And eventually I was losing money in options. So I decided, nope, this is not it. We go back to the roots. At Forex it is, futures it is. So these are the things I trade now. Besides that, we got introduced, thanks to Pablo, to Darwin X, which is how would you describe it? It's not a prop firm.
No, it's not a prop firm. It's more like investing on trader skills, I will say. So it's not really a prop firm, really.
It's made for you as a trader to build your track record. And you can imagine it just like a hedge fund a little bit. So in the end, this is what you want to do as a trader, because even if you take your progress from trading for prop firms and you have it's hard to build a good track record because you have account losses and everything. So how would you like put this together in some sort of CV so you could present yourself to either hedge fund? Like I don't think people think of that way either. Like if you build a nice portfolio, if you build a track record with trading 3 years prop firms, you are a trader on the market. So why would you not apply for, let's say, positions in a hedge fund where you will learn new skills and you have different opportunities to lead your way in trading. So this is what people also often forget, that you have this chance as well. And Darwin X does give you this chance of building your track record, but it comes with consistency. You need to be disciplined. It's not that you sign up, you won't be a millionaire tomorrow. It takes time. It will take you 1, 2, 3 years. But if 3 years you stick to this plan, and I'm a huge fan of consistency, and I'm saying like if you do something for 2, 3, 4 years, A, you're better than where you started, and B, there will be some sort of results. If after 4 years of trading you still do the mistakes of over trading, over risking, then trading is not a problem. It's you. You is the problem.
Yeah, definitely. So you decided to basically, from scaling up to the money, to know that you were able to make that money, then you shifted to trade your own funds, and you also kind of shifted also to invest on your skill. That's what you are doing right now for the long term. But that's why it's really why I wanted to promote DarwinX. It's because I think it gives you the best situation of what it is to actually manage your fund, manage your account over long term. Because obviously you do have a track record if, like you've noted all your trades over time with the funded accounts. But it's another thing also to really like manage a thing that for long years and so on and so on. So in some way it's good that you want to know how you will be over 1 to 3 years. And it can give you a huge reward into that, because after investors comes and stuff, so it could be great.
But that with prop firms, you don't get to actually track your performance.
Yeah, unless you do it manually. Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's a great.
Even if you do it manually, it's hard. Like, so remember, guys, journal your trades. This is important. I think we have not mentioned this earlier, but I've never done this also in the beginning. So journal your trades to build your track record. Like, do it as detailed as you can. Play around with different journaling styles and just find your style. I was also jumping for different journals to one I think now fit quite good. And remember that your mind learns the best when it has pictures. So put as much pictures of your trade as you want. Like with TradingView, we have this opportunity to just take a screenshot, copy it into your journal, and you will always come back to it. And this is the important thing about journaling. Look at it. Don't just put it there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, good point.
The magic point of journaling is reviewing. You need to review the trades. You need to see, okay, what happened actually? Because it's a loss, it's a win, and you're like, yeah, whatever. I just journal it. But look at what happened in the chart after and how you could have made it better. So definitely a good insight here. Do you mind if we go a bit on the technical here? I don't know if you are able to share the screen or whatever, but I think people are interested about that. So, for example, Arcadius asked, how did you work on your strategy to find your edge? Which, if there is a backtesting software, live trading and experimenting. And I think Johan, it follows also the idea. When you have several accounts, do you copy your trade on several of them, or do you trade different time frames, different strategy on some accounts? So if you don't mind, Pascal, it would be great if we could go towards that technical bit, and like this we could understand a bit your process.
Yes, so let's start one by one. How did I work on my strategy? I mean, I never changed the strategy in terms of what I trade. So I was always sticking to the good old baguette, which we called our pullbacks. So I was only trading pullbacks, and I still stick to it. I'm doing advancements to it in terms of price action. So I'm trying to refine it, but I never change it. I think if you go through my channel, you will always see there will be a Fibonacci with a golden zone and a pullback on it on my trades. So the only thing that changes is I adapted to, let's say, market conditions. I'm a lazy guy sometimes, like not always disciplined. So I do a really, really lazy analysis because I don't think putting too much noise, too much different time frames into your trading will disturb you in the end, like will disturb your bias, because like I don't care about what happened on a weekly candle when I do a trade on the 1 minute. Like this is totally irrelevant for me.
Yeah, of course.
I look at the daily candle at max, but just to get an idea, because I think what people never thought about is how candles get formed. Like you have a wick, you have your body, you have a lower wick and a top wick. So like what I would advise to people is put on there is a sessions indicator, and then you split your screen, you put on, let's say, the 15 minutes, put on the sessions, and then you look at the daily candle. And then you try to understand how your candle get formed, because there is often in Asia session, you have it's either forming your lower wick, your higher wick, because of course there is not much volatility. And then in London session and New York session, your candle is getting built. So based on that, I try to adapt my strategy, because let's say if I look on the daily candle when I come to the chart and it's a clear bearish candle on the daily, like I know my bias for the day. Of course, the candle can flip, but with intuition and knowing a little bit of price action, you can easily get your bias for the day. And since I know what I look for, it's just obvious pullbacks, which I can maybe share, like what happened yesterday on my screen later. This is how I find my strategy. I just look for pullbacks in different situations, and yeah, I don't complicate it too much. That's good. So I like it simple, because since I'm a software engineer, it's you want to keep it as simple as it gets. So this is the way I approach it. And
15, you say 5 minute or 15? So
yeah, so I'm getting, it's 1 hour down to, I'm placing most of my trades on the 1 minute. It's rarely 50 minutes, 1 hour, but like my journal is just based on 1 minute, because let's say if we think about, I can explain this later, because when people see it, it's easier to explain. But I wanted to mention, because of the back testing, like I'm not a friend of back testing, because you're just, especially on trading view, because you don't see how the candle moves. It's just flicking around. I don't see any value in that, because you can just trick yourself so much into, I've put my trade there, and then you see the next candle is maybe stopping you. Then you just roll back the trade, and then you have never placed it. I'm not a fan of backtesting. I'm a fan of go to the market, pretend as you were trading that day. But even if you told yourself, I'm not placing a trade, do your analysis, write down what you would have done. And I think it's called forward testing. So do forward testing in live markets, take a day off. Maybe lock your accounts or change your password, that you don't fall into the trap of still take the trade. I'm a strong believer of that, and just showing up. Just go to the charts, look what happened, even do a review of what happened that day. If you did not have the chance to trade, and look, okay, this would have been my setup. Don't give it too much power, because what if I have done that? That's not good for your mind. But the best thing to do is just live trading and experimenting around. Because what I did, I also started to experiment a little bit on the fib levels. So when I was only trading NASDAQ, I was not taking entries at the 0.5 pullback or 0.618, the golden zone. I was putting it between those two levels, because I knew if this gets hit, and I also calculated my stop loss level. Now I just put a stop at a low or a high. But back then I was putting I think it was 0.7 of the fib pullback. So, and this edge was playing out really, really good, because I did experiment and played a little bit around with it. So trading, the charts are also a huge playground for you. But with having a background that you have your strategy, which you're just refining, and which we all do trade as pullbacks.
Yeah, I really agree. If I could add on that, I think documentation is really important. Technically, your best course, your best learning content that you have on trading is the charts and the past charts. So as long as you are, and I keep repeating this, right? But sorry if I do, but it's important. If you see something recurring on the past charts over and over again, you have eyes, right? Unfortunately for you, you are a visual person and you can see something reoccurring again and again. I think it's the most important than backtesting. And then, like Pascal says, going forward testing, I will say, like, just try it, even with small money, whatever feels right to you, but it is more efficient. It is more efficient, definitely. Many times people ask me, how did you do for your establish this strategy and so on? I'm just doing books, bro. Like, I'm going on past, I'm doing books of what I see again and again. Then I apply it. Of course, I do back tests once, but it's really like just once. It's not like I'm paying, like doing my, like this for days. And I just see, okay, do I see this right? Does it work? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it. Right. So I think Pascal on this it's important. Like, don't spend too much time on the back testing. I think a lot documentation, then go for it in the market.
So, and with several accounts trading, with TradeAway, you have a built-in copy trader. So you can just use that to define it's not defining like a risk, but it's a multiplier of your contract. Let's say if you put one contract, let's say it equals to 1%, and you want to put 2% on another, it just gets multiplied. So you have this sort of copy trader built in, and that's what I used.
Okay, cool.
I know that you set and forget in your trading, Pascal. So my question is that how disciplined are you with in regards to that? Because let's just say you're in a trade, it's just missed your TP, and now the market's starting to reverse. Are you still going to remain like strong in that and take the full loss, or are there moments where you'll be like, well, clearly it just missed it, it's going to reverse now, so I'm going to just cut the trade?
The good thing is when I place a trade, I don't look at it. So during the podcast might take profit hits, but during that time, I don't know what happened. Like, this is the best thing to do. I just put my alert at my take profit and my stop loss. So it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens. And if there are times where I do look at it, for example, yesterday, there was a trade where in the end it hit take profit, but I closed it because I, for myself, okay, the lower time frame does look really bearish. I have this and this confluence. This is when I closed my trade. But in the end, if I would have never looked, I would have gotten the full TP.
It's UJ, yeah? It was USD So, for example, I've been managing my trades a lot for years, right? Like, so I was moving to break even and so on. And it has been a lot of different talk. And Pascal has been one of the guy with my other friend who really convinced me on the set and forget, because it's quite easy answer, Dave, is like, if you understand the math of it, you look for 1 to 2. Yeah. If you win just even as much as 35%, you'll still be good. So that it goes close to your TP and then smash the stop loss, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
Because numbers will still be there with you. And I think that's what Pascal seems to have, like, just nailed it. He was like, yeah, whatever.
But I think it's also important for, like, other people to know about that. Like, it's literally happening to me even today. So it's like, I'm not saying I'm going to stop loss, but it's literally just missed my TP. And so I think to myself, I wonder how important it is in these moments to just take the full loss, even if it was so close to you reaching that TP. I think that's what makes the difference.
I think what will make the difference, sorry, Pascal, maybe you have an answer to that, but will be the time, right? Like, once you've done this for an amount of time, long time, you will estimate, okay, this one, it seems that it's reverse, and then you can just leave. But the best is at the beginning to let the process really know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I think a lot of us in the community, well, I'm not too bad with it. Like, I'm quite disciplined, but a lot of traders out there, especially in our community, they are still struggling with that, I think. And so, yeah, I think it was just good to share that part. I know, Pascal, you're very, very good with the way with your discipline and the way you just enter trades, and then whatever it is. But I think that's a very important part of your success.
And it's also important where you put your take profit. I think don't be focused on, I need to find I need to make a 1 to 2. put your take profit. And this is what often saved me. Like I've noticed that when you have like a big wick and you have a swing prior to it, don't put your take profit at the wick. Put your profit at the low of the body. Yes, maybe you don't get like your 1 to 2, you get a 1 to 5, but it often reverses at that point. So I think this is what people also don't focus about. Look at areas where price is likely to go, where there has been some support or resistance, and don't overtreat your TP. Yes, the price will have a 1 to 2, but even if you have a 1 to 5, it's still perfectly fine. So look for areas where it's interesting or likely that price goes there, because price is not, I mean, we think sometimes it's random, but like if it's halfway and nowhere land, it won't just do like a 360 and turn around completely into your stop loss. Like it can happen with news and everything, but even then price looks for areas where it either has been rejected or supported. So I would say I'm really good at finding areas where to put my take profit. Also on like the Discord, the screenshots I shared, you see I just got wicked into the take profit, then it reversed. Was I then lucky? I would call myself no, because I just found a good area where to take it and I was not too greedy.
Yeah, good point. That's where like now when I set and forget more, like I evaluate more where my TP could be. I'm looking for 1 to 2. So, and I decided with the documentation and backtest again, that it will just work like that. But I evaluate my trade according to where the TP is instead of a stop loss now. That's what I did today and it did work, for example. So it's a very good point. Definitely.
Yeah.
Should we go to the strategy?
Where you place your stop loss is important and where you put your take profit. Like these are the 2 points. And once I changed that, it also changed a lot for me. So yeah, we can jump to the strategy. Maybe I share my screen. So we need to put you to the other side. This.
Okay, cool. Let me just put it on the full screen. Yeah, we see it. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I will just put on replay mode so I can show what yesterday happened. But so yesterday was Wednesday, right? So I came. Okay, I cannot put replay mode, but I will just does not work somehow.
It's because you're on two screen, I think, no?
Yeah,
maybe.
Okay, so I think I came to something like, let me just make it bigger for you, to this on the chart. So what, I just look at this and I know what I want to do. Like I see clear in my mind, okay, we have this uptrend here. So I was looking for a long. And I saw, okay, we made a high, we made a swing. I have my low here, I put my fib. Then, okay, I scroll a little bit out, look to the left, and what do I see here? I see we have this area which has been pushed away, rejected it. So I have the probability in my favor. We are in an uptrend. We are on an area that we have supported. I will put my limit order at the golden zone, and I just limit order at the golden zone, stop loss goes below here and take profit. I actually did not put it at that high because what I said, I have wicks. I put it at the body of this. So I had like a 1 to 2.4. And so I think it was like 2 or 3 times, and then it will take profit. But this was the trade where I mentioned here I closed earlier because I don't know if I can show that in replay. That was Wednesday on 10. Yeah, exactly. So because I saw here, we took out the low and then made a pullback. So this setup is normally what I look for on a 1 minute. But my mind was a little bit off. What I did not remember is that this part here was just the pullback on the high time frame. Like it was this candle and I got distracted by it. So because we see here, this was a clear uptrend. And later, this was also just pulling back and then keep continuing up to take profit. So here I got distracted by looking at the charts and I closed my trade that I remember it was this candle here. So this is what I normally look for. And if we skip now today, remove my drawing. Okay, I come to this and I see, I have no bias for today. I just come to the charts and I see, okay, from my experience, I know this is a divergence. So these highs are diverging. So I'm not looking for long today. So what do I see here? Okay, I see move down and then a pullback. And Has the lower time frame been moved? Yeah, it was this. Sorry, I actually showed today. I did not show yesterday's movement. But I think people understood what I meant with. I was just distracted by the lower time frame. But here it's now, I get a break of my 15 minutes. I got a break of a low here and then pullback. And now it continued down, as you can see here. But yeah, I was trading counter trend because the trend is high. But due to my experience and intuition, I know I have this divergence. And if I have a divergence, I want to have at least like 3 tops, something like this. Then I will allow myself to counter trade. And if we look on the daily candle here, I came to this and it was looking, okay, some sort of, we get rejected at this top here. We push down from this. So how big is the chance that we reject this top again? And this gave me the bearish bias for today. And what I looked for was on the lower time frame, this pullback. So I put my limit order. And here I did not make it bigger. We'll remove these red circles. So again, I just put a limit order at the golden zone. I think it was around 9 first day. When did I put the trade? Somewhere in the morning. I think it was here or the time. And I was here because I got filled. So I put it here, and I did not put my stop at the wicks. I again, and I take profit, put it at the low of the body because I don't like wicks. So we had like this. So here again, you see, I got filled by the wick and it's reversing. Because I was not looking for a particular 1 to 2 or whatever. I was just focusing on structure. I was focusing on structure, on price action. And I had this huge push down, which gave me more confidence for that short again. So what I do, I have different setups now. I either look for what I looked yesterday. Let me put something on where I can draw. I look for trend continuation based on previous structure. So if I have a high here which got rejected, I want to see something like this. And you see from experience of drawing, you will also draw your golden zones perfectly with the pullbacks and seeing it from the market. So this is one setup which I take now. Different setup is a nice baguette. And this is like a setup I would take on 1 hour or 15 minutes. I would take something like this. Then I have a setup like, again, something like this, where I have an uptrend, I have a high, and I immediately make a new low. I draw this one a little bit too high, and let me put it like this. And in best case, I have something like a gap up here. Then I wait for price to pull back. I put my fib. Yes, I'm trading counter trend, but let's say this is the 1 minute chart. And now I draw our 1 hour chart. And the 1 hour chart is a downtrend. Sorry. And we're at this point. So I'm betting on a continuation on the higher time frame. And you often need to remember, if you have, let's say, a break of this previous structure, it's often just a reversal on the higher time frame. Because as we know, we have pullbacks everywhere. So we pulled back, and this pullback here is an uptrend, which we had here. Pullbacks are lower highs, higher, and lower lows, high. Sorry. We have higher lows, higher highs. This is how we define an uptrend. So on the short time frame, we have an uptrend. Higher time frame, we have a downtrend, which is just making a pullback. So with this break of my last low, I say to myself, okay, we are continuing this downtrend. So this is why I look for a lower high, pullback into my golden zone. Like these are my favorite setups, which I take at the moment. And I have one more setup. I have when we, let's say, we reject the area, we make something like a double top here. And then we also break this low and then we pull back. Of course, this works around with like this as well, but it's easier to understand. So I'm just waiting for price to make new extremes. And then I just wait for my pullback. I put my limit order, stop always above swing highs or swing lows. Like this is the golden rule. Nowhere in between, being greedy for higher risk to rewards. And this is all I look for. And I mean, on my Darwin X, I am now up. I think with today's trade, it was 17% since the beginning of 15 days of trading with at one trade per day. And at one point I did like 2 trades per day, because when I have profit and there is a setup, since I only trade Euro, USD, JPY, gold, like I only trade these 3 things. And so I allow myself to do another trade. But basically it's just reading price action, having intuition, and also being willing to take the risk of taking this outer trend trade, which we call it here, because of the confirmations I gave for myself. And if it's easier for you, write out on your chart what you see. Like I often do this. I put like, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. That's why I enter my trade. So the most important thing is give yourself a reason or have reasons why you entered in this trade. If you saw somebody a trade and you ask them, okay, why did you enter? Doesn't matter the result, if it's stop loss or take profit, because you can have the best analysis. Price does what price does. You have no influence on it. But if you're able to describe what you saw, what you did, and you had a reason, it was a good trade, no matter the outcome.
Yeah.
So this is how I think. And if you keep continuing this progress over and over again, you will find success in it.
It's great.
It's great.
Amazing.
Very straight to the point, easy approach. I like it.
Yeah. And what I use as confluence, we have the dollar index. So if you're looking for a short, you have your reasons. In your dollar, like I saw in the morning, is going on. Then I'm like, okay, I have another reason to enter this short. Yeah. And it played out well in the end, which we saw here. And even this didn't bother me, that we were up here like close to my take profit as stop loss, because I did not watch. Like you see, you have one candle, like people would be, oh shit, I'm close to my stop loss. Ah, nice, I'm in profit again. Like how much it would mess with your mind. Like it's just not worth. Don't watch your trade, put it on and give the result to the market. Like let the market decide what it wants to do. And there is no stop loss hunting, no nothing. My advice is don't trade the news. Just avoid the news, because in the end, it's just high volatility and you will be bugged if it takes out your stop loss, and news is for gambling. So if you want to gamble, go to the casino or whatever. But I think at prop firms, you have no way to trade news effectively if you're not Nancy Pelosi that has inside news.
Yeah, exactly. What I think is completely right is that once you write on the chart what you see, for example, if it tells you or talk with yourself, whatever it works for you is great. Once you get an idea that you think it should go, your goal as a trader is to work on the potential scenario you made yourself. It's important. It's a scenario you make yourself. You're not sure about it, but you decided to invest on it. Then just the all in between, that is between your TP and your stop loss, just let it, because that's what was your scenario and potentially it should work. And if you start to do anything about it and stressing, technically you are giving yourself a self-speech of like, you're not confident with yourself. You not trust yourself. So just let it be. Cool. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
So I just want to quickly ask, so like obviously price action really doesn't play a part in your strategy. It's mainly just structure. You set limit order. It doesn't matter what candle it is that fills you. That's where you're gonna take it.
Yeah. I mean, structure is in the end price action, understanding like how a market moves, like the thing I explained with the pullback, that on the lower time frame, when you're in a downtrend, you will have this short-term uptrend because pullback to the upside is needed and it's an uptrend. So don't be focused on just like, okay, I'm looking for a long now because my 1 hour is clearly looking for a short. Because if I see then price made a new extreme to the downside, as we know, a downtrend is lower lows into lower highs. So, okay, I'm continuing on the higher time frame trend, looking for my shorts, and I'm not confused. Like, I don't look too far to the left because it's often just confusing. What I look for is something like this. What I told you, I look for an area and I saw, okay, this was it the last time it reacted here, because like, I don't care what it did in 2021. I just want to see what is present. That's why I don't zoom out too much. That's all I do. I mean, the trend is your friend and you need to understand what trend is currently active. And this is due to price action and structure.
And never think that the price is too high or too low, or expect a reversal to happen. Like if it's really high, chances are it's going to go higher. And I think that's a lot of the mistakes that traders make as well. You know, you're still continuing. You're not. There's no reason for you to think reversal at that point, right? Like if you think it's the market's going long,
the brain keeps you want to think that you will reverse, but this is because you try to be smarter than what you think.
Yeah,
right?
You want to predict the market.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be a theorist, you know, like it's like, okay, I will see this. And if you have, like, if it works, then it gives you some sort of bad habits, that's the dopamine and whatever, like, oh, I've been right on this one, right? So,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Very interesting.
If you have a question, guys, please feel free. Pascal, thank you very much for all this great inspiration. And can't wait to see where it will lead you over time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah. Question from George. So let's wait.
Kay's typing too.
I think the main sum up is think simple, apply, repeat.
Yeah.
Don't give too much power into
boring.
Yeah, it's exactly this. Do you measure risk in percentage or go 1 to 2 lots disregarding the risk? I mean, on the futures.
No, I measure risk in percent. I mean, and sometimes I measure it in money because, like I explained on my channel with how to pass, let's say, a futures challenge, like the money I put, I did not care about the percentage. I just cared about, okay, what does it take to be as effective as possible and get to the payout as easy with a system as possible. So I just put the amount of money in the calculator I made. And so, yeah, I just say, okay, in this trade, you put $1,000, like on my 150K account. I want to compute how much risk it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's less than 1%. So on Forex and Dow and X, I do take percentages between 1 and 2%, often just a gut feeling, how good I feel with this trade. I think that's what you develop over time in trading, a feeling. And this is how I do my risk.
Cool. I think Kay is typing most likely a questions, but so we could wait a bit.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere if people wants to find you, they can find you, or you don't care about that?
I mean, just on the Discord. I mean, Here's my channel. People want to hit me up, they can just come. I mean, I think some good advices on how to pass challenges. I mean, it's obviously for everybody to see, like on Forex challenges, special risk, how you want to go through the channel, how you want to go through the progress, how much to risk. And yeah, I think...
Okay, Kay was asking about your risk calculation for US 30, so I suppose it goes in hand with what George asked, suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I don't trade the US 30, but I mean, you have your tick value and then you can also just do the calculation.
Okay, we have some more people typing, so let's just wait a bit. Do you trade specific session or whatever?
I mean, I'm sometimes in the morning, I just look at the chart and I mean, it's probably 10 minutes, which it takes me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in afternoon, New York, but I just prefer morning sessions.
I mean, the goal of trading is not work that much, right? Like, this is the goal. Don't spend too much time, scale up the money. It's a goal. So you should start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we did, Dave, you please go.
You mentioned, Pascal, that like if you're in a bad mood or things are going wrong, it's probably best not to trade. So did you trade the day that Germany got knocked out of the Euros? Sorry. Wow.
Okay, but put a little bit of salt into
Yeah.
I think I actually didn't trade connect. I don't remember
throwing it. Sorry. I was a little bit about the cover.
There was the dirty one. But okay. Now you heard me. No, but I didn't let it.
Don't worry, man. Look, my native country is Italy.
Yeah.
We got knocked out way before you, so it's all fine.
No,
Just sort of throwing a fun one.
that's what keeps the community alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It was a great episode. And maybe we talk in some years, like with Henry. It will be nice to see what's up with your future. It's like, I'm trading, eyes closed, making billions. Would be nice.
Yeah.
Now let's see where it really goes.
Yeah,
Don't even
definitely.
have to look at your trades. That's great.
That's good. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.